Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this new episode of The French Way. This is the first time that I am recording from southern France. We have moved, and I'm actually really excited to get back into a routine and get back into my podcasting routine. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will see that I have a different office. For the first time in my life, I actually have an office. Before I was in my living room, on my kitchen table, and now I actually live in a house and have an office. So very excited. I wanted to give a short update on our move before I dive into the topic of today, which is going to be around journaling. So we arrived now almost a month ago. It has been exciting, crazy busy. I would say the first month has been a lot of managing problems that come with a move. And I think I'll do an episode specifically on the move at a later point in time because a lot of crazy things happen, but I'm still here and excited to be here, and we survived. So anyway, be on the lookout for that episode soon. So what I wanted to talk about today was journaling, because journaling for me has been life-changing, and for many of my clients and other women that I know, it has also had such a positive impact in their lives. So, but I also want to tie it to my coaching philosophy and how I work with people. And so I just wanted to take a couple minutes. And if you're new around here, first of all, thank you for listening. I want to talk about the philosophy of positive intelligence, where we have saboteurs and then we have our sage powers. And so simply put, saboteurs are our negative thoughts. It's negative thought patterns. It's the voices in our head that are there to judge us, put ourselves down, tell us that we're fat or we're stupid or we'll never be able to succeed. It's all of those negative thought patterns that result in stress, anxiety, all of those negative emotions. So those are our saboteurs, and then we have our sage powers. And our sage powers, there are 5 of them. So there are empathy, explore, innovate, navigate, and activate. And the reason why I want to mention these different sage powers, and it's exactly, if you're interested in positive intelligence, you can buy the book by Shirzad Chamine. It has been absolutely life-changing for me, and that's how I work with my clients. But all of this is available in his book, Positive Intelligence. And the reason why talking about our saboteurs and our sage powers is because journaling helps us recognize when our saboteurs are present and how we can switch to a sage mindset. And so, more specifically, I want to talk about my journaling practice and then how it relates. So, I've been journaling now for many, many years, and I do it probably 5 to 6 days a week. I've just got a notebook, just a regular notebook that I'm very particular about the kind of paper and the ink that I use and the pens. So I have a regular notebook, and I have I'm a little pedantic when it comes to the pens that I use. And so every morning I start off by doing a thought download. It's like, I would kind of say almost like vomiting everything that's in my brain and putting it out on paper. And I just write, and I don't classify anything. I don't judge what I'm writing. I just get it all out of my head and onto paper. And so that's the first thing I do. Then I use two sage powers. I'm going to use empathy and curiosity. So usually after everything is out of your head and I've put it on paper, I read back what my brain is offering up for thoughts. And I look at it, and often a lot of them can be negative, and they're about maybe fear. In this case, maybe it was, recently I would say fear of moving, fear of change. My husband has a different schedule now. So a lot of them could be around those negative emotions. So I just look at them and I use two sage powers. The first one is empathy. So I look at them and I treat myself with a lot of empathy and compassion, because all of those negative thoughts, first of all, everybody has them. It's an automatic reaction of the brain. And I'm a human being. In short, I have a human brain that is just putting on paper human things. So I treat myself with a lot of empathy and compassion in regards to what I'm reading. And the second sage power is I simply look at things with curiosity and ask myself, wondering why my brain is offering me that thought, or is a different thought, is it really helping me? And once I look at things with curiosity, it also adds a lot of insight into being open-minded about what could come up and how I could evolve those thoughts. But the key question I ask myself is, are those thoughts serving me? Are they helping me? I'm a very goal-oriented person. And so are those thoughts actually helping me reach my goals and move closer towards my goals? I often will journal on a specific topic. So one day it might be my business, another day it may be relationships, and even more specific, it could be a relationship with my husband or with my daughter, or when I was at work, a work colleague. I journal a lot on my health and wellness. And so I personally, I like it to be topic specific. So once I look at it with empathy and curiosity and ask myself, is it helping or not? Then I pass into a second phase of, I want to do intentional thought creation. Okay, I'll say that again. I want to intentionally create thoughts that are going to serve me. So the reason I do this is because a thought, it generates a feeling in your body. So just as an example, if I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, that generates a feeling of, could be disgust, it could be disappointment, it could be blame, but all of those negative emotions, and that thought is coming from the saboteur in my head, versus an intentional thought that I want to create is more something like, I'm learning to accept my body, or I love seeing what my body can do. I can be curious around what my body can do today. But a thought that makes me that generates a different feeling in my body. So a thought that generates either curiosity or love or compassion or something that is at least not negative. So depending on the subject, will either be neutral or positive. And so I'm going to innovate. So one of the sage powers is, let me take my business for example. If I see that there's a negative thought coming up around my business, then I'm going to force myself to come up with 10 different thoughts that actually are going to serve me. There's no reason, Karen, that you won't succeed. You are a professional. You've always managed teams. Teams like working with you. So I actually force my brain to come up with thoughts that are going to help me move closer to my goal. So that is the first thing that I call innovate. And I force myself to come up with usually at least 10. Afterwards, there's also a question around in positive intelligence language that we call navigate. And navigate is really big picture thinking. So, if I'm thinking of myself in 25 years, end of life, I'm healthy of mind and body, and would the problem that I'm thinking about, would it really matter? And what would my future wiser elder self tell me about that problem? So I try to put it, and will the problem actually matter at the end of the day or tomorrow or in a month's time? Okay, so I put some big picture thinking into my journaling and into when I'm looking at it. And again, I'm looking for thoughts, and I want to create thoughts that are going to move me closer to my goal and that are much more constructive. And the following, that then afterwards, once I have a new thought, I practice believing it, and depending on what the thought is, I can even take action. So, for example, so as an example, I am a woman who has her own back. Okay, that's a thought that is serving me and that is helping me move closer to my own goals. Okay, I am a woman who has her own back because right now I'm an entrepreneur. I'm building my business. I'm alone in building my business, and I have to depend on myself. And so I have to learn to trust myself. So that trust isn't necessarily all there all the time. So working on thoughts where, Karen, you will figure it out. It is okay if it is not perfect. There's no such thing as failing. You're just learning. So I choose thoughts that are much more supportive of my goals. So, and then once I've chosen one or two thoughts, I love writing, and I keep writing them down. I usually practice them until they become ingrained. So what I mean by that is every single day I practice intentional thoughts. So if there was one day that I'd done a thought download, I looked at my thoughts, I chose ones that were helping me. Then over the next usually at least 2 weeks, I write them down every single day. And that is a signal to my brain that this thought is just becoming who we are. It is believable. It is safe to believe it. So I like to practice. The other way, so that's, I would say, kind of to summarize on my journaling practice, that's really what it looks like today, is looking at what's in my brain, deciding if it's helping me, and then choosing what I want to think on purpose. There's another exercise that I also do once in a while when it comes to journaling in my morning routine. I like to ask myself questions. And When you ask your brain a very powerful question, the brain automatically wants to answer. So it will come up with the quality of the question will actually influence the quality of the answer. So, for example, if you are constantly asking yourself, why can't I lose weight? Why is losing weight so hard? Your brain is going to come up with all of the reasons why losing weight is so hard. It's going to tell you it's going to look for evidence why losing weight is hard. If you ask yourself, how can I make losing weight fun? Then your brain is actually going to answer that question on how it could be fun. So that is a very high quality question. How could I make losing weight simple? When you ask your brain that, and then you brainstorm, you come up with 10 or 20 answers and find evidence how it could be simple or how it could be fun. So asking yourself powerful questions is also a great way that I find journaling helps and helps me move forward in my specific objectives. So for some of the people that I work with, not everybody likes to journal, and I completely get it. I work with some women. I have this beautiful client, and her journaling practice, she journals 30 minutes a day. She calls it morning pages. And I think it's just such a beautiful testament on how she wants to start her day. It sets an intention. It sets the tone for the day. It is an appointment or a rendezvous with yourself. And we as women, I think, are so good, I would say in air quotes, at giving our time to others, to our spouse, to our family, to our job, to our children, that just giving yourself 5, 10 minutes, or even 30 minutes, like my beautiful client does, it's just such a good habit to build the relationship that you have with yourself. That is why I journal. That is why I do intentional thought creation. And that is why I ask my brain powerful questions. If you have a journaling practice, I would love to hear about it. You can always drop me an email or also on Instagram. I would love to hear about your journaling practice. And if you also, what kind of powerful questions you ask yourself. Thanks for listening this week, and I will be back much more regularly now that I have found my routine. Speak soon, everyone. Bye.